All right, as promised, here he is, Skip Kluka, ladies and gentlemen, the pride of New Brighton at D&G Pizza. Time to talk a little college football national championship game coming up Monday night, ESPN. It kicks off at 8:30. It's Alabama against number 1 Clemson. X and O's in a moment, but when you think of D&G Pizza, you think of Beaver County.
Oh, since I was 14 years old, 1964. That's going back a few, quite a few.
Tell the story about Lori's father, Gene.
I've been buying pizza there for about 20 years or so, and so one night I go in to get my pizza, and I say to Gene, who was Lori's dad, who started D&G Pizza, I said, when somebody's with a company for 20 years, don't they usually get a watch or something like that? Gene looked at me, he said, you get a free piece of pizza. I said, you're the best.
That was a big night. That was a big night. Listen, I want to talk about your friend Nick Saban. You were in his wedding. He's from West Virginia. Married his lovely bride Terry many years ago. I have gone to the wall many times defending him. I believe he is the greatest college football coach ever. And I think if he secures his 4th national championship at Alabama, I don't think there'll be a question.
Well, I'm a little biased because I've known Nick since I was 17 years old. We both ended up at Kent kind of roundabout way. I went to Nebraska on a football scholarship and then decided that I wanted to transfer because they played me a defense and I still wanted to be a quarterback. Well, Nick was going to go to Navy and he got cold feet at the last minute about the 4-year military commitment and decided that he would like to play somewhere else. And Kent seemed like a good choice for him. It was close enough that he could get home. And so he didn't start school till the spring of '69. I transferred from Nebraska to Kent. He came and started school at Kent then, and we were both quarterbacks. So we spent every day throwing the ball to one another, warming up, and slowly became friends. And played football together at Kent. The last year I played, we were a very bad team. Nick played one more year, and they were the MAC championship team. But and he started his coaching career immediately at Kent as a graduate assistant for Don James, who later won a national championship in Washington. But that's where he started, and we became friends right away.
All right, let's talk about this game. Derrick Henry is the Heisman Trophy winner. He, of course, running back for Bama, and you've got a man by the name of Deshaun Watson, who was a Heisman finalist. He, of course, for Clemson. Clemson, number 1, Bama, number 2. Some of the other guys that you're going to be watching and hearing a lot about, Jay Coker, their quarterback, and Deshaun Robinson and Jared Reed, very tough up front defensively. But there is a running back who plays for Clemson by the name of Wayne Gallen, had 150 yards, 2 touchdowns in the Orange Bowl win over Oklahoma. And, of course, Cotton Bowl, they just meaning Bama smoked Michigan State.
I think it's going to be a fairly close game, at least for a half, and could possibly go into the third quarter. I think that Alabama, their front 7 on defense is just the most stout in the country. I don't see anyone pushing them around for very long, if at all. I really think that what Nick will try to do is the same thing he did with Michigan State. He'll try and make this team one-dimensional. The issue he's going to have is with their quarterback, because their quarterback is much more mobile than Michigan State. But Nick, over the last couple years, having played against these style quarterbacks, has tried to make his defense a little better at containing these running quarterbacks. So he knows what he's up against. Nick is so detail-oriented, it's unbelievable. I've never seen a coach in my life that is as detail-oriented as Nick. And they get beaten a play during a game, they go back and go over that play and over that play and over that play until they learn exactly what it is they did wrong. He's the most obsessed coach I've ever seen when it comes to details. Everything in that program is on paper. They know exactly what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, every day in practice, workout, spring ball, the whole deal. It's completely scripted.
Dabo Swinney is the head coach for Clemson, and I knew when they beat Notre Dame, they were the real deal. That was the measuring stick for me. Now, I do believe Bama will win this thing probably by a field goal. You agree? Disagree?
Yeah, no, I think it could be that close. Possibly not more than a touchdown, but yeah, it could be a field goal.
Listen, one of the things that I would love to see happen, and the guy was 500, I believe, at Miami, and I have said this, he really got it going, but he didn't stick around long enough for whatever reason, and I think just to be able to take care of his family and give them more security, and you're probably saying, how much do you need? But let's face it, when you have an opportunity to do better, you take that opportunity because you care about your family, and he's got a very rock-solid family, so he goes back to college football, which he loves. But I have said many times, like Pete Carroll, I believe he would, on his second go-around, really prove everyone wrong when it comes to him being able to coach at the NFL level. Now, because of the ties to Kent and the opening in Cleveland, Jimmy Haslam, of course, Pittsburgh native, knows a lot about football. Even Ray Farmer gone, new general manager. And he's got a baseball guy now from the Mets, a Harvard graduate, who played wide receiver as his kind of football go-to guy in the front office. I think this would be a great setting for Nick Saban. Do you think he'll ever go back to the NFL, and in particular the Cleveland Browns?
Well, if you've noticed so far, they've mentioned quite a few names in the interview for general manager and for the coaching job at Cleveland, none of which have been Nick Saban. Nick has been asked this question before. His name was thrown around with the Indianapolis job when they thought that the guy there was going to get fired, and he just signed a 4-year contract. It was mentioned also with Texas, because people in Texas would spend whatever it would take to bring Nick Saban to Texas. Nick Saban is not leaving Alabama. Nick has children and grandchildren now. He loves Tuscaloosa. He owns 2 Mercedes-Benz dealerships, one in Birmingham and one very close to Tuscaloosa, and is building a 3rd. He has no intention of leaving Alabama. He's going to be 65 years old. He'll stay there until he's done, and hopefully he'll walk off with another national championship when he does.
Must be some of that water in the body, because he looks pretty good for 65.
Yeah, he holds up well.
So do you. All right, listen, we're going to be talking to you from time to time here at D&G Pizza, whatever it is, but especially about good food and friends and football. And he is all of the above. And the one and only, my lifelong friend, Mr. Skip Kluka. Enjoy, and don't forget, D&G Pizza is the perfect pre-game or halftime or post-game meal. Have a great night, everybody.